Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We shall now discuss Module 5 on fallacies, its origin and uses. So, fallacies. The word fallacy originated from the Latin word fallio, which means I deceive. Searles, one of the authors on logic, defined it as any process of reasoning or arguing which fails to satisfy the requirements of logical validity, whether formal, semantic, or the use of words or materials, or the things contained in the reasoning itself. So fallacy is wrong kind of reasoning. The word of value is used in our church doctrines, but used in a positive way. The church and the successor of Peter were granted by Jesus Christ the infallible means of teaching, no, to continue his salvific mission. So, value, which is a negative word, preceded by a negative prefix in infallible, when you say no error. So, on the other hand, when you say fallacies, value, which means erroneous, I deceive. Next, a fallacy is committed either intentionally or unintentionally. Ibig sabihin, one may not know it, no? If it is intentionally, then you are committing a sin, no? In thought or in word or in action. No? A fallacy is committed intentionally. Uh, a fallacy committed intentionally is called a sophism, a term derived from the sophists of the ancient Greece who took pride in calling themselves the wise. But as anything good, class, if it is handled in an evil way, it can degenerate into something which is bad. Because the sophists later on in the history of philosophy became philosophers who have no official stand among themselves. They can play black and white. No? For example, in our modern day, you can argue for abortion or against abortion, depending, for example, on the money given to this person. The sophists later on were found to be only interested about the money, not about the truth, which Jesus Christ in John 8, verse 32 said, the truth will make you free. So as students of philosophy, as students of logic, we always aim for the truth. Okay. So that's why we study fallacies, to know what is true and what is false. Uses. The study of fallacies has been an integral part in the study of logic. Its contribution in systematizing and improving one's thinking and reasoning has been acknowledged since the birth of logic in ancient Greece. So the father of logic is Aristotle. The birth of philosophy is attributed to Thales of Ionia. Okay, so since the very beginning of time, since logic is a study of correct reasoning, the study concerning fallacies was also studied side by side. In fact, in my book here, class, uh, the study on fallacy is treated in the last part. No, after we have done already some studies on the terms, the meanings, the propositions, and the arguments or the inferences. We study about fallacies or wrong kinds of inference. Next, the study of fallacies has many good uses. One reason is based on the principle that one will not know what is right if he does not know what is wrong. So this is a negative way of learning, but it is also part of learning. If you are a mechanic, a car mechanic, you should know the correct arrangement of the engine or the parts of the engine, as well as you will know the incorrect way uh, how the parts of the engine are assembled. No? So in whichever way, it means that you are a master of your own craft. For example, here, how not to deliver a bad report on a topic in the classroom. So this is a negative approach, but this is also very helpful. Uh, a reporter must must wear a good kind of dress or clothing. A reporter should also take a bath, wash himself, and look neat and tidy in the presence of his classmates and the teacher. So, a reporter should not be dirty, no, or untidy when reporting. Secondly, a reporter should not should not use so many unnecessary words like okay class, okay, 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 or in every sentence the person says okay, okay, right, 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 and his classmates may have the tendency of scoring him with the scorecard. At the end, his classmate will say, congratulations, you have just reached 100 points in saying okay and all right. Okay. The third way, for example, is the student should not look at the ceiling, should not look at the window or door while discussing. He should look directly into the eyes of his or her classmates. No, at the same time, our former dean in College of Arts and Sciences here in LaSalle said that when you are a teacher and you are using the blackboard or the whiteboard, you should not look at the whiteboard or the blackboard in the same way. If you are using the PowerPoint slides, you should not focus, or you should not turn your back from your students and look at the screen, or else the students will not pay attention to you, or they may go out to the CR or to the canteen without you knowing it. So it's good to look at your laptop, which is projected on the screen, so that you can have also an eye contact with your students. So eye contact is very important when it comes to speaking or in reporting. So these are the things uh, uh, on how not to deliver a bad report on a topic in the classroom. So this is done in a negative way, no? So fallacy, study of fallacy is done quite in a negative way, but you can still learn many things through it. Mhm. For example, no, we see we have some examples here which I I constructed last night. No? Have you stopped cheating in your classes? So your classmate or your teacher will ask you that question. What will be your answer? Have you stopped cheating in your classes? If you say yes, it means you admit that you have cheated, but then you stop cheating. If you say no, meaning to say you are still cheating continually. So you are put in a dilemma actually, no? The best thing is to tell the person, okay, you are presuming that I cheated, but I did not. Mm? And I do not cheat. I study my lessons and answer the questions correctly. So this is a fallacy called the fallacy of complex question. So that if you don't know how to handle this, you have fallen into the trap. Some opponents are very wise, and they will throw you this kind of complex question, and if you don't know it, then you will just be immediately defeated. Another example: where is the cell phone that you stole in school? Hmm. If you say, no, I don't have that cell phone, Yes, I have that cell phone. Either you say yes or no, you are defeated. If you say yes, I have it, then you admit that you stole it. No? And if you say no, I don't have it, no, I mean you say you stole it, but you don't have it now, no. Okay. So another example here. No? Flores de Mayo Catechism teaches that Catholics should make the sign of the cross whenever there are demons. I wonder if there are many demons during the Sunday Mass. I just overheard this the other day because I was preparing myself to give a national webinar for Catholic faith defenders in the Philippines. But at the same time, so many of them are working abroad in Canada, in UAE, in Australia. So I overheard this as part of my preparation on the sign of the cross. No, in Tagalog, one preacher said that dito sa katisismo, sinasabi dito na magaan tanda ng cross kung mayroon kayong mga kaaway at mga demonyo sa inyong gilid. So marami palang kaaway at demonyo ang mga Katoliko sapagkat kung tuwing sila ay magmimisa, sila ay nag-aantanda ng cross. Sabi ko, that is a strawman fallacy. No? What is this strawman fallacy? No? The debater, the debater or your opponent makes a straw man. It's not a real man, but it's just a straw man made of plastic or made of ano ni, palaya ba, straw, no? Like a scare crow in the midst of the field, or scare uh, ano ni, a straw man to scare the crow in the field, no? So what is the real thing here? No, your opponent makes a straw man and then backs it and topple it down and says, "Oh, I have conquered my opponent." But you say wrong. Why? Because that straw man is not the real doctrine of the Catholic Church. No, the doctrine of the Catholic Church, as found in the Baltimore Catechism, says, we make the sign of the cross because we call on the name of God in um, uh, three persons, of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Second reason is we profess our faith in the incarnation of Jesus Christ, who is God, came down as man and died on the cross, shed his blood for our salvation or for our redemption. And that is a real instrument of saving us. He died on the cross so that he conquers death and regains salvation for all of us. And this this exorcism of the bad spirits, the devils, the demons, is just an offshoot of this calling on the name of the Holy Trinity. So, do you understand, class? No. So, the moment your opponent makes a strawman fallacy, no, meaning say he reduces your whole argument into something that is funny and something that is weak, you point out to him or her, no, that is not that is not my argument. That is your argument, which made my argument into a strawman fallacy. You just made it up. That is not my argument. Okay, so next, another reason is that the study of fallacies provides the student of logic an opportunity to review much of what he or she had learned about systematic thinking and correct reasoning. So we can review actually, no, our notes when especially we do our argument, or we do it in writing, or whenever we speak, for example, and if there is a video taken, no, we can review it and we can change it the next time, no? Okay, and you can point out some errors there and you try to explain, no? See, like that. Next, still another reason for the study of fallacies is that a person who is adept in recognizing fallacies can guard himself or herself well from getting deceived, no? Failure to deceive, no? So fallacies proliferate in many discourses, both written and oral. No, so for example, nowadays, no, they are saying that this ivermectin is not tested well. No, so if you just listen to that speaker, you say, "Oh, it's not tested well." So you can just ask the question. This ivermectin was discovered, was made in 1970s. It's almost uh, uh, 40 years now, no? And almost 35 years of testing both animals and human beings. And this has been proven in more than 22 countries to be effective. So how can you say that there are no studies done yet? No? So you immediately pose your question so as not to be deceived by another speaker. Okay. Uh, So knowledge of fallacies by name gives the person greater advantage over his or her opponent in debates and discussions. He or she can point out the error readily and even give the name of the fallacy committed by his or her opponent. No, for example, during Senate proceedings or proceedings in Congress, there are always debates, no? Because whenever bill is given, no, is passed, there needs to be three readings, and in each readings, no, there are two sides, no, opposing sides, no, and they listen to the debates, no. The debate is important, no, so that the truth will come out and the view of the majority can be respected. So some people are saying debates are useless. No, no, there are useless debates and there are useful debates. No, we should know that. No, but debates, argumentation and debate is even taught in the classroom, in the academe, and even logic touches debates and touches correct reasoning. No, so for example, one person says, "You don't know this topic on contraceptives, no? You're saying that contraceptives used by women can cause cancer of the uterus or can trigger the cancer of the breast, no? It's because you are not married kasi madre ka eh, no? So you have no authority in saying this, no? I heard this kind of argument when I was attending a retreat in Iloilo, no? But I was saying to my friend, no, it doesn't mean to say that even though she's a madre, she's a sister, she does not study anymore the findings of science. But science tells us these contraceptive pills are not vitamins or are not nutrients. Actually, they uh, they cleanse the peel off the uterine wall, and it causes ano ni ano ni blood clotting or the flow of blood. So later on, it it produces cancer of the uterus. So you immediately point out the wrong reasoning of argumentum ad hominem or against the person, not against the ideas. No. So yet, in spite of these objections, ever since the time of Aristotle, treatises on logic have always included a discussion of fallacies, and many good reasons can be advanced in support of this traditional practice. So this has been practiced since the olden times. And as for me, no, uh, because I'm into a national organization, and I also conduct debates from time to time, no, formal and respectful debates for the sake of the truth. And I discovered that this study on fallacies is very important. A physician aims at procuring health, but nevertheless studies diseases. So too, a logician who aims at attaining correctness of thought must also study the pathology of thought. No? So a physician studies bacteria, germs, viruses, and for example, nutrition also, and the doctor discovers that the food for cancer cells is sugar. Also, carbohydrates turn into sucrose, sugar also. Even sweet fruits no, produce fructose, which is also sugar. That's why the way to avoid cancer is to limit our use of sugar or soft drinks or candies, etc. And we we know that green leafy vegetables, especially organic, is superior compared to fruits, especially ripe fruits, which are very sweet. Okay. No classification of fallacies is entirely satisfactory in the first place. No classification is exhaustive, no? Kaya um, I refer this to module 5 and module 6. But I know that uh, since we are only having a class once in a week, no, in 40 minutes, I know that I cannot exhaust everything. You need some readings also. No. Indeed, it is probably impossible to draw up a complete list of fallacies. No. In my uh, in my books here, no, um, there are about more than 53 fallacies. No, if I discuss all of those 53 fallacies, no, common fallacies, it will take hours and hours, perhaps. No, so we just discussed the most important types. Definition of fallacy: a kind of argument that seems to be correct or valid, but is not so if examined carefully. No, apparently on the outside it seems correct, but it is not. No, okay. Then it is an erroneous or false reasoning. Mhm. It is an argument that tries to persuade psychologically but logically incorrect. No? For example, you say, "Sir, you should not you should not drop me because I am the head of the family. I am the breadwinner." No, um, or "Sir or Judge, you should not imprison this person who has raped this woman because this person has a wife and has 10 children. If you imprison him, then his children will be impoverished, they will go hungry, they will have no father who will take care for them." You see, psychologically, it seems persuading, but we have a name for it. That's argumentum ad misericordiam, appeal to pity. So what about the woman who was raped and killed by this person? Do you not pity that woman? Do you not pity also the family of that woman who was raped and killed or murdered? No? You see, uh, that's why we have rules and we have laws. No, uh, our government is a government of laws, not a government of men na palakasan lamang. Okay. Yeah. So major types or kinds of fallacies. We have the semantic fallacies and we have the material fallacies, which we shall discuss in our next meeting, no? In our next video. Semantic fallacies, also known as the fallacy of language. Mm. They are errors due to ambiguity in the meaning of words or errors due to confusion resulting in incorrect grammatical construction or judgment or reasoning. That's why um, study of language or study of grammar is very important in discourses, no, in both written and oral communications. No? So we will go into these semantic fallacies. There are 6 of them: fallacy of equivocation, 2 fallacy of amphibole, 3 fallacy of composition, 4 fallacy of division, 5 fallacy of accent, and 6 fallacy of figures of speech. We will go over these one by one. But as an overview also for our next meeting, we shall in passing view these material fallacies or errors which spring from inattention, or abuse of the subject matter or content of an argument. No? The matter or the ideas contained in these fallacies. Kinds of material fallacies, medyo marami-rami ito. No? Fallacy of accident, fallacy of confusing the absolute and qualified statement. So, fallacies of irrelevance, tinatawag sa Latin, ignoratio elenchi, or ignorance of refutation. No? So, instead of attacking ideas, it goes to other kinds of of manipulations. Argumentum ad hominem, it attacks the person. No? Argumentum ad populum, argumentum ad misericordiam, which I mentioned a while ago, appeal to pity. No? Uh, Argumentum ad vericondiam, argumentum ad baculum. No? We will discuss these things next meeting. Nonsequitur, it does not follow. Petitio principii. No? This is pronounced in Latin as petitio principii. No? Don't pronounce this as you pronounce the Spanish way. No? Petitio principii. No? No? But in Latin, this is petitio principii, begging the question. False cause. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. 7. Complex question. 8. Argumentum ad ignorantiam. 9. Suppressed evidence. 10. False assumption. 11. False analogy. 12. Illicit generalization. 13. Argument from silence. No? Some people say that silence means yes. But if you examine the legal documents that we have now, it's the opposite. If a person is asked by the policeman or by some investigators, and if that person does not have any lawyer to defend him, the person is silent. It's not because he is saying yes, no, it's because he's exercising his right to remain silent, especially if whatever he says will be considered against him. So argument from silence in law means as of this time, no, not yes. In fact, a person is presumed innocent unless or until proven so. That is embodied in our constitution. Now, let's go one by one to these semantic fallacies. No, let me see if we still have enough time. No? Fallacy of equivocation, committed when one assumes that words with the same spelling or sound are used with the same meaning. So when you say this word has two or more meanings, that's why we sometimes call this fallacy of four terms, because there are not only three terms, no, but four. No? So this might confuse other people. No? So a star is a heavenly body. So the meaning of the word star there is a heavenly body. No, the sun and the other objects in our galaxy. No? Taylor Swift, the singer, is a star. So it has another meaning here. No? But you don't say, therefore, Taylor Swift is a heavenly body. No? That is wrong, because the star used here has one meaning, and the star here in the next proposition has another meaning. Therefore, if you confuse them, you will have a wrong conclusion. This is a fallacy of equivocation. Now, let's go to fallacy of amphibole. Occurs when one's proposition or sentence is ambiguous. No, ambi means two sides, two uh, two angles. No, due to incorrect or vague grammatical construction. In the English grammar, this is what we call the dangling modifier. Your modifier is not placed near to the word it modifies. No? Examples here. The notorious criminal was arrested by the policeman who robbed the bank. No? This will confuse the listener. Who robbed the bank? Was it the policeman who robbed the bank? No? So, ang police pa ang nagnakaw sa bangko, no? But it should be the notorious criminal who robbed the bank was arrested by the policeman. So itong relative pronoun na ito at saka modifier nito, ilagay mo sa gilid ng criminal. So the modifier must be placed beside the word it modifies. Hindi mo ilagay sa ibang mga words, no? Na hindi naman niya minomodify, no? Another example, for sale, a carriage for a baby with damaged bottom. Oh, ang baby pa ngayon ang may damaged bottom dito, no? Yan. So, ilagay mo dito, for sale, no? Kasi bababa na ito, carriage with a damaged bottom for your beloved baby. Yan, klaro yan, no? So whether you write or you say something, you should place your modifier near to the word it modifies, no? Carriage, no? Ang nagmo-modify sa kanya with a damaged bottom. Hindi yung baby na with a damaged bottom. Iba na usapan yan, no? 3. Wanted, a house for a newlywed couple with 3 bedrooms and garage, no? Sabihin mo, anong ibig mong sabihin? Mayroong newlywed couple na mayroon silang 3 bedrooms and a garage. Garage, no? So, mali, no? Sabihin mo, wanted, a house with 3 bedrooms and a garage for a newlywed couple. Yan. So, klaro, class, no? So, that's the examples of fallacy of Amphibole. Now we go to fallacy of composition. It wrongly assumes that what is true of the parts is also true of the whole. Composition, parts applied to the whole. Examples. If we combine the best basketball players of PBA, we shall make a great team. Halimbawa, kinumbay mo lahat ng mga centers, no? Matataas silang lahat, no? So wala nang power forward, wala nang guard, no? Hindi rin sila makakagawa, hindi ka rin makakagawa ng magandang PBA team, no? So it is not true na if you combine all the best centers or best players, you will make a best PBA. Kailangan piliin mo rin, no? So number 2, because every part of this machine is light in weight, therefore the whole machine is light in weight, no? So every part ng engine ng car mo light in weight na ngayon, no? Kasi unlike before, talagang mabigat. But it doesn't mean to say ng engine is light. So you will break your back if you just carry the engine alone, no? Or transmission alone, you just carry it, no? You will break your back. It's very, very heavy. Yeah. So the fallacy of division is the opposite or the converse of fallacy of composition. No? It assumes that what is true of the whole is also true of the parts. Ano example nito? Since Japanese are industrious people, every Japanese is industrious. Not necessarily, no? There might be some Japanese people who are very old or very sickly, or some are depressed, no? They have lost their hope in life, so they have no motivation for working, no? So, yan. Since Philippines is the top religious country in the world, no, as a whole, therefore every Filipino is religious. Wrong. There are Filipinos who don't go to church, who don't pray. In fact, there are many Filipinos who are NPAs, no? Anong NPAs? No, or New People's Army, who are communists. As communists, they don't believe in God. Therefore, they are not religious. So this is the fallacy of division. You don't assume that what is true of the whole is true of the parts. Fallacy of accent results from the ambiguity of a word which has different meanings when accented differently. No? This is different from fallacy of amphibole or fallacy of ambiguity. No? Okay, this is about the accent. Example, present. Present. This is a gift, no? And present, to introduce or exhibit or show, no? So ibang stress dito, ibang accent, no? Go slow, comma, men at work, no? So makita mo sa daan. Go slow. Hinahinay lang kayo dito, no? There is road construction. But iba rin yung meaning na sabihin mo, go, slow men at work, no? isang, buwan na hindi pa rin tapos yung kanal diyan 'no, kaya madami namang mahulog 'no. Kasi, yung mga tao na nagwo-work diyan ay mga talagang makukupad, very slow, 'yan. Oh, so ibang accent niyan 'no, yan. So, number 6, fallacy of figures of speech stems from a mistake of inferring similarity of meaning from similarity of word structure. No? So ito hindi literal na meaning kundi figurative, no. Alam naman natin sa grammar natin na mayroong simile, metaphor, synecdoche, irony, etc. No. So examples: insufficient means not sufficient and inefficient means not efficient. Therefore, invaluable means not valuable. O ibang meaning ng invaluable dito, no? Tingnan mo sa dictionary, no? He is an invaluable person in our company. Doesn't mean to say na wala siyang value. Mean to say, he is a very important person in our company. No? Yan. Kasi yung prefix dito, it can mean negative or it can mean something. No? A tactless person is without tact. A shameless person is without shame. Therefore, a priceless person is without value. Priceless dito, ibig sabihin na talagang hindi mo ito mabibili. No? The, the blood of Christ is priceless. When He shed it on the cross. Ibig sabihin na hindi naman na walang halaga yung blood ni Jesus on the cross. It's priceless because no money, no gold can buy it. It is the blood of God, the Son. So God is sitting on His throne in heaven. Therefore, He has butt and legs. No? Naririnig ko ito sa, sa mga programa sa TV. Na namatay na si Ili Soriano. Very intelligent. No? One time I had a debate against him. No? Yan, in 2003. Pero literal yung kanyang pagtingin dito eh. Oh, ang Diyos ay umuupo sa kanyang trono. So, ibig sabihin siya pala may poet. Yan. Sabi mo, ang sama-sama naman ng interpretasyon nito. It is what we call anthropomorphism. Anthropos in Greek means man. Morphe means form. In a form of a man, na parang umupo ang Panginoon or God walks in the Garden of Eden. No? Parang pinaportray siya ng writer na parang tao rin. No? Pero in John chapter 4 verse 24, God is a spirit. And Jesus Christ said in Luke 24, saying to the apostles, look at me, no? Touch me, handle me, no? Because a spirit has no flesh and bones. So since God is a spirit, no flesh and bones, wala rin siyang butt and legs. No? But this is what we call a figure of speech, no? Anthropomorphism. If this is applied to cats or dogs, it is what we call personification or applied to things. Halimbawa, my ballpen or my ballpen speaks louder or ganyan, hindi mo uh, hindi mo intindihin na nagsasalita yung dog mo at saka yung ballpen mo, etc. That's a kind of figure of speech called personification. Yan, okay? So that's the end of our discussion class, no? So I hope you have learned something today, no? This is very important class, no? Because we discuss grammar, we discuss logic, we discuss philosophy, and we discuss things, no? Yan. Okay, do you have any question, ladies and gentlemen? Do you have any question? Since we do not have much time now, we shall just pray, no? Stop share ko na ito. And, ano ito? Stop recording na rin. Stop recording.